It's just so stupid. Stupid as window. Test, 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 test. Cool. Uh, Hello, Deemer. Alright, today's goal is to get some sketches done for Valentine. I originally think that was planned to do just one, but we can just do a couple sketches, face and upper body only-ish, and then we can color all of them. We don't have to choose one. It's whatever. It's not like I have to make the deadline. Don't care. Do whatever the hell I want. Let's go. Oh. Oh, live chat is not working. Alright, let's line up some stuff first. Okay, should be fine. Lined up the sequence. I don't know what I want yet. This is basically the same advice same answer I gave to Maxi yesterday with respect to ideas, I think. I've been browsing a bunch of Pinterest Don't really have any idea where I want to go, but we have some references here. We're just going to draw them one by one. And at some point, I'm hoping that, or rather it should, we should get some new ideas. And then change certain aspects of it, certain things. Then we go from there. Just wait for that to happen right now. In the meantime, we get things moving. Hello, Sheriff Chandra. I need the alignment to follow the sequence here. This goes up. Eye sizes are not aligned. It's fine. That. Hello, George. Possibly redoing that sequence. I think currently we don't touch it. Not having a guideline for this means I have to redo the alignment properly every time. I have to feel it every time. That's fine, I think. This is still currently not working. My ideal Valentine, as in like ideal partner, ideal day of the month. You mean like the ideal day of Valentine's Day? Yeah, like one or the other, right? Either we're talking about the day or we're talking about like a partner. Depends on what the noun there is meant to mean. I think either one works. Ideal Valentine date. Honestly, not doing anything is probably the best. I've always felt very overwhelmed by everything that happens. I feel like not having a day where you don't have to do anything, you just kind of chill and hang out. Like, not necessarily planned for anything, just kind of sit around for a bit. I don't know if this makes sense. Yeah, just stay indoors. I don't know, drink something hot and sweet or something. Just watch some videos and play some games. I think that's probably good enough. Sorry, not good enough, right? That's probably the best. Everything is always a pain in the ass, I think, in life. Like, if, let's say you go out, right? Like, the chances of things going wrong, I wouldn't necessarily say are particularly high, but there is a chance, a higher chance than if you just stay at home. be in a controlled environment. It would be nice if you can just stay at home, honestly. Honestly, given any situation, my answer for ideal day is always to stay at home, I would say. Yeah, I suppose. Um, yeah, like it's not that I don't want to necessarily go out and experience things, but I feel like doing it on a day where everyone else does it is also kind of stupid. Like I don't like being in crowds. I don't like, well, most people in general, I would say. My point of view has always been like, you know, with people there's potential for trouble, right? There's a lot of things that can possibly go wrong. So if you want to have like a good time, go when there's no people. If you want to go somewhere that you want to travel somewhere, don't go during holiday season. Go during when no one else wants to go, dude. Like then there's no one else there to ruin your day, and you wouldn't accidentally ruin someone else's days either. Less people, less crowd, less queues, slightly more freedom. And then when the days where there's like a ton of people outside, just stay at home. I don't know if you guys like have similar experiences, but imagine like back in school, right? Or not even doesn't have to be back in school, but anytime when you get to do something different from your peers. Like let's say for example in school, when everyone else has to, I don't know, do some sports or something, but because you're sick, you get to sit by the side and just kind of chill. Or you're sick and you're at home while everyone else is at school. Or for whatever reason, you get to rest when everyone else is working. Doesn't that feel like the most magical moment? Where you're kind of by yourself in your own element, you do your own thing. No one else is there to bother you. And you get like a good reason to not have to do certain work while everyone else is still doing it. It feels like I like those moments the most, where you're kind of outside of the system, right? Where you're kind of just not part of the crowd, where you're just kind of being by yourself. Not necessarily because you did something wrong or something, you know, just as long as you're kind of outside of that system, it feels freer. You know, you feel like you're not bounded by the same rules. And it feels nice. I think that's the kind of same philosophy that goes into this. Just because it's Valentine's Day, I don't think it necessarily means you have to do something outside, right? Like even if like there's a bunch of promotions outside, even if there's a bunch of special deals or quote unquote things that you can only experience during Valentine's, sure, we are gonna miss out on certain things, but I feel like what are those things providing for us anyways, right? Like Valentine's is about you and your partner, right? And as long as you two are together, does it matter too much? Like I think being comfortable just being the two of you guys outside of the system and feel a little bit more free. I think that's probably a more fun time than anything else I can think of. Yeah, I would need like someone who doesn't really care about shit like that too much. I think because I did a lot of thinking about this stuff, these kind of things. Like I don't know if I mentioned on stream before, right? Favorite dinner, put on favorite movie, reminder, go without going outside. Yeah, I would say. Let me adjust my volume real quick. Ugh. This pose is kind of weird. The alignment sequence is not lining it up. The other ones are kind of chipping out the anatomy. But yeah, I spent a lot of time thinking about like what is supposedly an ideal partner, right? Because you know, it would be nice to kind of be aware of like what is realistic, what is ideal, right, and what is realistic. And I don't know, because at a glance, like the formula is this, or not formula, but the situation would be like this, right? You are your own person, they are their own person. The chances of you guys being the exact same person is very low. That means there's gonna be friction, there's gonna be compromises. So now there is this cost, right? There is this cost of doing business. Then what is it that you're getting out of the relationship? Then becomes the question. And companionship is the main thing, right? Anything else you can kind of get with friends, you can get with somewhere else. And then now it becomes the cost. Yeah, like whether if it's worth the trouble is what I'm trying to work out. Because you do have to spend a lot of time and effort to get something set up. You have to be out there, you have to be available, physically and mentally available. Yeah, I don't know. This sequence is broken. I'm not sure why. Hello, Mayota Chen. Oh, there goes my tablet connection. Oh, yeah, I wonder why, huh? There must be a specific answer here. Not so clear about the angle here. But the idea is there. I'm gonna hold for now. I think for the other two pieces that we did before, just before, was also kind of done in this way, where we have two active sketches and then we kind of jump back and forth as we sort out different issues for each one. Because it takes a while for the problems to get resolved by themselves. Look away for a bit, come back, and the thing that's problematic become more obvious, and then you fix that. It's a bit faster than just trying to sit here and trying to figure it out. Less chance of getting like stuck in like a very specific state of mind and become blind to it. I'm just gonna leave this here at some point here. This finger is weird. We just tried to start like where should I start before getting complicated about art thing? Where's my right? So this is why I want to set up the website, because I do have that path worked out from before. Why did I ask? It's so stupid. Shit, I don't know where it is, but let me see if we can find it first. If I can't find it, I'm just gonna write it down again. Like a brief idea, I think. Yeah, I don't know why I put the hang on. Hello, Uni. So my point of view is this, right, Chen? Like, it depends a lot on your own personal experience and progress. Like, it depends on how beginner. If you're saying like truly beginner, uh, almost. That sounds very familiar name. I don't know who that is though. But anyways, if you're truly beginner, right, like zero experience, your number one thing would be like observational skills. I cannot spell observational skills, where you take a reference and you just try to copy it into what's. So this is the studying process, right? And your goal is to just try to copy the shapes by eye over here. You don't really have to worry about why the shapes are in a specific oh yes, that's right. Valentine, I just remembered. I did watch the anime. But in this step here, you don't have to worry about exactly why things are the way they are. For example, if you were to study this, for example, let's say I want to study this in like this area here into this box. You wouldn't have to worry about why things are necessarily positioned the way they are, sized the way they are. Like, why is the face only this big, where the head is kind of this big, or like this is that big, and so on and so forth. You would just try and practice putting it down on canvas, right? And the main thing that you're training is just to recognize the relative proportions between all these different things. And this becomes the foundational skill to everything else that you will do later on, because a lot of things rely on you being able to see the difference, being able to figure it out for yourself. And the observational skills that you can pick up from doing this is the foundation for that. At least in my own opinion. Because once you get used to something like this, you will want to sort of understand why things are the way they are. Oh, god damn it. Big brain. So number 2 is where I think like fundamental. You don't have to do it in step, by the way. You can kind of just do both at the same time. And then fundamentals is where you kind of touch in, like, mostly you want to focus on sketches first, by the way. So these are more drawing related. So less colors for now, I would personally think, because I got really overwhelmed by hang on, my tablet's dying. With colors. By focusing on by focusing on drawings, you can train your observational skills first. You get some fundamentals sort of in there, depending on what you want to draw. Anatomy would be pretty big, I imagine. Perspective would be pretty big. I forgot what the other fundamentals are. Like values and stuff are mostly colors for now. These are the color stuff, and then there's some other thing. And then right. So observational skills, there is kind of not necessarily any understanding going on. You're mostly looking at the 2D shapes, like there's a circle here, a cylinder, maybe a rectangle here, that kind of stuff. But then when you come into here, you're starting to understand, oh, this circle here actually has its own 3D form, right? So there's a face on this side, that's on our right side here. And then there's a front side, and the front side has this curvature. And then depending on the perspective, right, this is how it's positioned in the space. If you want to turn it, for example, turn it around for a little bit, then how is it going to look then? This is why I want to document, by the way. I'm not presenting this in the most clear and logical fashion, I think. That's probably a better way to go through this process. Yeah. Also, thank you, Uni. Yearly Snow Miku Design Challenge open for submission. Hello, Toasque. Yeah. Yeah, like there is, so that's why I don't want to talk necessarily about the time just yet. In terms of steps, I would say you go through observation, then go into sort of 3D shapes. And then from there on, you can sort of work in multiple directions, I think. You can be better at certain aspects of art, like rendering. You can be certain better aspects of other things. This is more sketching 2D shape. I mean, it kind of comes hand in hand. It's really hard to break this down, huh? It's really hard to break this down because the values and stuff we can ignore for now. But then the next step is still kind of the same thing. It's kind of like 2B because you're trying to figure out like, hey, if this is the form and these are the sort of shapes that they're built up by, then if there's a light coming in, where is it gonna hit and where the shadows are and stuff like that. Where are the shadows? Actually, I have no idea. Oh shit. But yeah. Man, I definitely do need to present this better. Let's see. If you have a box. You have a box in perspective. I think I'll just end off like this, right? If you have a box in perspective that you want to copy, at this stage, you're really just caring about the outline. You're figuring out the sort of relative proportions of all these lengths here and try to get it to look good without necessarily worrying about why it looks like this for now. And then over here, you're trying to figure out that, oh, hey, there's actually a horizon line. And the perspective is the reason why this form looks like the way it looks like. Sorry, I need to fix my perspective a bit, but... Right, and then now you know that there's a reason, rhyme and reason for this. And then when it comes to later, when you want to put in some colors, you have to then remember that, okay, light source come in, your shape is like this, your form is that there are different planes here, top, left, and right. And depending on where the light comes from, you have your darker side, and then you have your shadow, and then how the shadow works depending on the light source, and then you can plot out your shadows and so on and so forth. Stuff like that. And then from then on, you can continue working in a lot of different directions, I think. Yeah, and then so this is like the technical skill side, right? Then come the adjacent stuff, which is your expectations, the way that you work, what you're drawing, and then I have a whole document for that, for all my own personal issues. Where in the bloody hell is this list? Because this is the video that I want to make, right? That comprehensive sort of breakdown of everything into what to do about it. Right, and then there's like a bunch of stuff that is adjacent to art itself, like adjacent to the technical stuff itself, but it's a very inherent part of art, right? You never treat yourself as a failure. You always treat what you're doing as a druff, right? Even the most polished pieces, you can still think of them as a druff and something to improve. And that makes it so that it's not so, what's the word, like disappointing when you draw something and it doesn't feel that, like, it doesn't look that great, because you know that you can still work on it. You want to work on small wins. Your work ethic needs to be important. You need to be in an environment where you can constantly work and focus and work. You need to reflect, and you want to be consistent, right? Don't worry about being too efficient or correct, right? This is where Banga's point about drawing stuff that you like is important. You don't have to make progress every time you draw. You don't have to draw something that you think you have to work on every time. Just make sure that it always feels good to draw, which is pretty hard in the beginning. Don't overplan stuff, because I have this tendency to really plan things out. But plans, even if they're right, most of the time they kind of go wrong. You're missing some pieces of information. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. But even if they are right, still takes time for it to sort of have effect. And then I would constantly spend time changing the process rather than actually drawing, and that's a big problem. I don't know what this point is about. Inspiration. This one is a little bit later on, I would say. But actually, no, it depends, right? Actually, I forgot what exactly drove me to write this point. I don't quite understand this right now. Right. Realistic expectations, time lapses are lies. Yeah, time lapses are lies, right? It's a struggle for like 99% of the people. Only like the top like 0.1% or something. They've been drawing for like 20 years and just draw something without really setting it up, right? You have to find a lot of references. You have to find a lot. You're gonna see me go through this nonsense process today because we're trying to set something new up, but it's gonna be a pain. And you can always feel free to listen to everyone. Um, but what you want is most important. But I think in the very, very beginning part of the process, I wouldn't get too tied down by this idea of having necessarily a guiding principle that clearly yet. But I think in relation to Bunga's points, I think it's important that you are very clear as to what you like about art. So, like, why draw, right? Because this question is going to, like, come up a lot in terms of why are you spending so much time doing this? Why is it that you're going through this painful process? And what makes you happy? What keeps you drawing? This question is really important, but I wouldn't get too tied down by like finding the answer, or like the fact that you didn't have an answer if you don't have one. Um, what's important is just that you keep working on things. Uh, yeah, planning can only be done with experience. A lot of things will happen. You're gonna think in a lot of cases, you're gonna think that doing this is gonna make sense. It's gonna draw well, but then it might not work out that well. It might not work at all, and that's fine. You just have to be prepared. That's the thing. Man, I should have wrote down examples for every single one of these points. These are just things I collected over the past year, and also reflecting on like the 9 years that came before that. It'd be nice to have some examples here. Right, and this is a big point for me, actually. I had too much pride in thinking that I should figure out everything. Because it's my art, my voice, I should be figuring out everything so that what comes out at the end is truly mine. But that isn't necessarily the case, right? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You're like a person's greatness isn't that he can reinvent the wheel necessarily. That is probably pretty great. If you've never seen a wheel before he came up with the idea, that sounds kind of insane, right? Like, but at the same time, your job isn't to make the wheel, right? Your job is to take the wheel and make a car. That's kind of what you're doing. So fundamentals of art and certain things, you can learn from artists of all sorts of different skill levels and all sorts of different styles, because it's going to build up your own sort of skills as well, your own fundamentals, and then from there you can decide where you want to be. So I think that's fine. This is the dreaded T word, right? Talent. Just ignore this word. This is my own lingo. This is just this comes down later, but it actually can be active in the beginning, right? But you have to be more in control of what you're doing, which I think might be detrimental in the beginning. Because when you start getting bogged down by a lot of the organization problems, you sort of take away your attention from the actual art and the practice and stuff. I spend a lot of time doing this, because without it, I can't function. So I have no choice. But the idea is pretty simple. Like, if you're drawing for fun, just make sure that it's fun. You don't have to make sure that it's technically correct and everything. But if you're drawing for studying something, if you're trying to figure out the anatomy, if you're trying to figure out perspective, why is this box the way it is, then you should be 100% very strict with yourself to figure out what it is and why it is. But if you're drawing, for example, like I'm just drawing for fun here, I don't really care too much if the anatomy is kind of janky. Something is always going to be slightly wrong anyways. It's fine, I think. You could try to make it better, right? And that's how you get better too. By me giving up, trying to figure it out, in a sense, I'm saying that I'm not going to improve this time around. But it's also fine. You don't have to improve every time. You just need to have some fun sometimes. But anyways, I think a lot of these things will come more naturally to you as you grind it out. Yeah, this thing is pretty loaded. This stupid ass document. It's also not very organized, it would seem. Anyways, that's a long rant for basically saying that just do some copies of other people's stuff. Like, find artists that you like and try to copy their stuff. Try to make it look exactly the same. And in that process, you will understand what is it that you need and what is it that you don't have. And then from then on, it's a lot easier to work because now you have a target instead of just worrying about, so how do I get better at art? What should I get better at art you know? You know what? Actually, that's probably the best way to approach it, right? After all that nonsense, I think the conclusion is have artists that you like. Um, Try to copy their shit. Figure out what is it that you don't know. Ask people or figure it out yourself. Either way works. Um, and then as you go through this process, this loop, you will get better, and you have a better idea of what to work on next by yourself. You'll figure that out. Anyways, I hope that is coherent enough, and I wish you all the best. Let me get today's dailies going. Oops, sorry, I bumped the mic. There's another YouTube artist that sent me watch way less I watch. Oh, thank you, thank you. They drew for 10 plus years, but in the last 300 years, what's the point of me drawing when I'm not getting better? I can just go to AMA or go to Image. A few seconds, I heard myself saying that. Yeah, that's why like question number 1 is so very, very important. Why is it that you draw? And then question number 2 is why do you draw the current piece? And then all of these things come together to keep you on the right track, right? The right track isn't a specific track. It's just a track that you decide for yourself is right. But you need to have the answers, I think, to figure out if it's right or not. But yeah, it might be a bit overwhelming. I think it's a good experience that I got asked this question today because I'm a little bit more aware of the. If I were to make a video, I think. Sorry, why did I send the one with the thing? This is what happens when I'm talking and trying to do things at the same time. But it's fine. But yeah, I do need to work on the presentation. It's not very. There's some information that needs to be dropped out, depending on who I'm presenting it to, and then there needs to be more concrete actions rather than just more theory crafting, I think, in there. This weekend, I'm going to get the website up and going. It shouldn't take too long. And then I can start consolidating information. And then if we ask questions like this, I think it'll be easier to talk about. This coloring scheme reminds me of someone who did not safe for work art, but I don't know who. This really saturated color palette. God damn, the rendering though on the hair. Oh, it's probably painted. Dang, it's very consistent. Yeah, anyways, that was a long rant. Today's dailies. I see today is a lot of circles. I think there was something here that seemed a little not safe for work, but I wasn't sure. Like this. She naked in that? I'm not clicking on this. I'm not clicking that. Oh, I see textures. Right, yeah, this reminds me of the other artist. Okay. The texture here is interesting. It's trying to show the threads, I think. But I wonder if it'd be better if it's a little bit more dense than this. Because it feels pretty sparse, and also with the additional texture, with the breaking out of the lines, it doesn't feel as smooth, I think, as it could have. Interesting to see it being done here, though, so I don't have to try myself. I figure. Oh, yeah, I didn't even notice the horns. This is interesting. It looks like it's pasted on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, AI art, I think, tricky thing to say. I still feel like art is more about intention. I don't know if I should talk about this. It might start a whole new thing about talking about AI, which I guess I'm fine with. But I feel like art is more about the message and intention. So if you can sort of justify that, maybe you can still argue that it's still art, right? If someone is in control of the model and they picked out a special model for each and every aspect of it, and they crafted, they spent like hours trying to refine the entire thing at the end. They didn't put down the pixels, but they were in control of every aspect of it. Now, where would that fall on this line of whether if it's art or not? I think um, that becomes interesting. Mm-hmm. I'm getting dry because I don't expect in the middle of AI slop. Yeah, I think it's interesting if you ask around like why people draw. Um, some people might want to do it because they want to have the skills to be able to express their own ideas as freely as possible, right? AI is not very free in that, depending on the model and whatnot, you come up with the same things that everyone else does, right? The model is very limited in terms of what it can and cannot render. Um, I think that's probably the main reason, right? Like basically they have stuff that they want to see and present, and there's nothing out there that can really help them do that at this point in time. Because I truly wonder, right? Like if you have such an all-powerful model that can do anything. Let's say that you have a neural chip in your head, right? And you can just imagine the image and it will be generated for you. Would you still take the time to sort of learn the physical skills of putting paint on paper? Right? If you go to that extent now, right? Let's say like you know some genius out there managed to collect a bunch of brainwaves of all the artists and converted that into a model that then can detect on your brain sort of electricity patterns and be like, oh yeah, this guy, he's feeling this right now, this is what he wants to do, this is the style that he wants, let's just make it, and then they can make exactly what you want, right? Then at that point, is there any value in doing it still? Because you're still kind of doing it yourself, I guess. Is that a nipple I see? No, that's not. That's a that's not a nipple. So anyways, thank you, Duvet. Oh, those people do? Yeah, exactly. So I'm wondering, like, if AI got to a point where you don't even have to see the image, you just have to feel the emotion. Because, like, there are billions of people out there. And we're talking about a hypothetical situation where technology is strong enough, powerful enough, such that it has data points from billions of people. Surely your ideas are not necessarily going to be that original, right? Are you truly saying, like, every single person in this billions and billions of people are going to be 100% different, right? I feel like there will be a lot of overlap. At some point, like truly original stuff will kind of be gone. Then your emotion that you're feeling might have been felt by someone else before, and they have figured out what is it that they want to draw. So the model, whatever this brain chip is doing, is able to figure out that, hey, you are basically this person. This is your art. And then what then, right? Like, is that, how does that work then? Because my motivations for drawing now is that I want to do it with my own two hands. But then if it gets to the point where you can just think and things would happen, and it's still you doing it, I suppose, right? You still have to feel the emotion. It is taking autonomy away from you, though, that being said. Like, but if the model 100% guarantees that that is what you're feeling and thinking and what you want, then is that it? Like, yeah, that is true, right? So it goes back. I think Toast that point is very valid. If you enjoy the process of putting paint on paper, then you will still do it. Okay, that's a pretty good point, right? Because personally, I don't necessarily enjoy putting paint on paper. My entire investment is this, as I have to do it with my own two hands. That's why no matter how painful it is, I want to do it with my own two hands. Um, I want to make sure that it's mine. Like I did it. Right, so if that's the case, even if the chip gets to that extreme point, I guess I still want to put it by myself. Right, because if I do it with this sort of hypothetical chip in my brain, you are not part of the process, and therefore you are not evolving the process. So it's also not yours, I guess. I don't know. Let's just have the same pose over here. Anyways, oh, it's ending. Oh, okay, cool. Music's ending. I gotta remember that. Yeah, but anyways, are we talking about this? I kind of forgot. Oh, because of the other artists saying, right? They're not so sure about why they're doing art anymore. Yeah, it's kind of tricky, huh? Like, I feel like if you just keep looking for a reason, you just keep trying, I think you'll find something that's meaningful to yourself. What, those good my art? Oh, so I'm not sure what buy means specifically. Are you talking about commissions or? I would say currently the math. We're still kind of in the part where we're still kind of stabilizing. Um, I think specific commissions and requests wise, there's the main challenge is always I don't know what buy entails, so like I don't exactly know what it means because like are you saying that once sold, I can't post it anywhere, or right, what does ownership exactly look like in this case? Also, since we're in the topic, just to complete my thought, is that requests and stuff and commissions and stuff currently I can't take still because the process is still very unstable. There is no guaranteed quality, there is no guaranteed style. Everything's are kind of just up in the air, kind of a coin flip. We're currently flipping a lot of coins right now. Is kind of what I'm doing. So I'm trying to figure out what I want, but right, yeah. If I take your money, right, and I can still post the picture, I can still look at the picture. Anyone else can still see it and download it and use it. Like, does it? What difference does it make, right? It just becomes like a donation, I guess. Which, by the way, I'm also not taking. I'm also not taking donations. So I guess there is that too. Uh, Currently, the system is still very closed because anytime I don't like, this is gonna sound kind of maybe slightly insane take, but I don't like money at this point because money makes things complicated. When money is traded hands, there is a certain level of expectation between the artist and the commissioner and anyone giving the money, even if it might be donations. I feel like just to keep things clean and simple, right? I'm just here to practice my art. You guys are just here to sort of be a part of this journey, and then that is that. Um, I'm not sure who this is. I'm sure there's some AI references in here too, by the way, because I don't know. I just walk around on Pinterest and just grab some stuff. Yeah, but I'm trying to keep the so just to finish that thought, I'm just trying to keep processes clean so that I can focus purely on technicals and my own idea of originality and expression. And then when things stabilize, where I know that they're stable enough, then we can talk about maybe getting some requests in. I don't think I'd be taking commissions per se. Commission taking is a whole different another ball game because then it becomes a client artist relationship, and that is pretty tricky to navigate, I think. I'm kind of glad that I didn't do art 100% for the specific reason is that it doesn't has to tie to money. Which is great. Sorry, I can't really speak and do this at the same time, huh? Hmm. Anyways, sorry, Tosca. When you say that can we trade gentlemen's words instead, are you implying that your idea of selling and buying is that that piece cannot be used anywhere else? Then I can understand it as that, right? If that's the case, then it will depend on the character themselves. If it's my own character, that's not gonna happen. I think anytime soon, if at all. It'd be kind of hard to say down the line. Um, but because I just want to wait for confirmation first before I go down this path. Actually, is that what you meant? Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. I see. I see. Huh. I'm not sure if I follow the thought, but right, right. I see. Actually, that's an interesting point. That is a very interesting point because I'm revisiting my what I said, and I think it isn't necessarily about money. It's more about the freedom of doing things. I think about keeping things separated. Like art should art is just art, and then nothing else should be involved. It is just a expression of the character's personality, identity, lore, story, that kind of stuff. And there's no additional factors that come in play, be it money or be it any other form of trading or anything else. So I think along that train of thought, even stuff like art trades might potentially be problematic. I think I have to spend some time on this. I think. Oh right, I forgot the music ended. Oops. Yeah, I think that's probably what it is. I think that's probably what that is. Okay, I need to run a. I need to detach myself for a little bit. I'm getting a little bit more in control of the process of what's happening in my head. Like right now, I know that I'm not making any progress, primarily because I think a lot of these questions are more thought provoking. I'm going to disconnect from the probably all these deeper thought things, and I'm just gonna spam some sketches. I'm gonna reset the old noggin here. Let me get some poses here. Jumpstart this process real quick. Yeah, weekends will get that done, and then. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, actually that reminds me. That comment reminds me, the virus, of why I don't like want to take commissions. Partly is also because the moment you start doing stuff for work, I feel like you stop evolving a little bit because the focus becomes getting things done in a way that can get money or something, or meet the established expectations. Whereas right now we have the freedom of just breaking things and then refixing it, trying something new, exploring new ideas. Yeah, all the really good guys are probably stuck to a specific studio. They might even have clauses that say that they're not allowed to take personal commissions. I don't know though, but it could be possible, right? Because otherwise, like, an indie company can just get their art style and then, like, get a bunch of people following them instead of the actual main company studio's game or something. I don't know. Could be possible. Professional behavior. Oh, I see. Just behavior in general? Not necessarily, I see. This is not the right way to do this. No. Who is running my checks? Oh yeah, furry commissions. Kinda huge. Probably the area here. Yeah, I wouldn't know how to get commissions either. What I think people like would work, like if I were to do it, I would just focus on building social media and then try to draw memes or something to get. What is it? Number one would be establishing baseline, which is still what we're doing, or establishing the base level of workflow and style, make it consistent. Then fill out my timeline with stuff that looks consistent of a specific theme, I guess. Maybe just like various anime characters or something. And then try to make funny things or something. Try to make memes, try to get the hottest thing. You have to chase that elusive. You have to make algorithm work or something, I don't know. And then I think just leave your links available. And then just wait, I guess. Like, yeah, what do you do to get, like, commissions actively? You need more exposure. So I need to find places where my work might be used, I suppose. I might go into VR chat and just, like, offer to draw people profile pictures or something. Maybe they can spread by word of mouth. What other ideas are there? Yeah, what other ideas are there actually? I don't know. I don't think I would survive in like the artist industry, honestly. It is very, very rough. The targeting? Oh no, never mind. It's not bothered. The proportions here are likely a little bit janky, I think. The main goal isn't necessarily to get bogged down by getting things 100% right. Just want to get my hands loose. So do things quick is actually the main goal, rather than doing it accurately. Now we can do some quick accuracy fixes at the end. But then I'm not too worried about that either. Where's the other hand? Where'd it go? Alright, no hands. No right hand, thank you. Target is here. Target is kind of flat actually. Works for me. I think Ibuki's stuff is more gesture based. I don't know if that's necessarily a different, but I think uh right, maybe it's the same thing. Because in my mind I don't feel like I'm necessarily doing gestures. Because I think gestures probably have more requirements on like flow and the movement and everything. I'm not really thinking about that at all. I'm really just trying to get stuff on paper as fast as possible. In my mind at least. Just loosen up the hand. I guess I don't have space for the legs. Alright, that's fine. Alright, what's the vision here? I have no vision at this point. I only have one idea, right, for Valentine. All I wanted to is just have Faye present her feather as a present. That's it. Because I got this idea from seeing a Koharu piece in the past. I forgot. I don't know where it is. I tried to find it today at work, but I thought it was pretty cool because like the concept is that you're presenting a part of yourself as a present, right? It's not about chocolates. It's not about the message. It's not about love letter. It's about a piece of yourself that you can present to someone else. I think that's pretty cool. Magma draw together session. I don't know if we ever did any sort of official draw together. The boards are always open. I don't think I did anything with that. Not that I don't think I never did anything with that. I just kind of left it open. I think we might have refreshed, like got a new board going or something at some point in time. But besides that, yeah. What did I put this here? Oh no, primarily for clothing actually. This is a little bit too. His face is very reminiscent of Silorenko actually. Is this Silorenko's art? Need an attachment for this angle. Oh, let's stop forgetting that. Not that aggressive. Push up. It's gonna be rough, I guess. Another day. Controller. Controller. Running for shark. I think people in the chat are kind of doing their own thing for the most part. Which is good, by the way. Just to be clear, always, I want to make sure that people understand. I think, I personally think the best way for you to make progress is to not watch my stream. I think it makes sense to come on and chat and talk about certain things and ask about certain things. But if you're spending your time here watching me draw, I don't think that's necessarily the most effective use of your time. Because there's only one way forwards, and it's to grind it out yourself. And having streams open, even open in the background like this and just listening, I can find it pretty distracting. Yeah, I think if you're here just for the streams themselves, I think that makes perfect sense. For any other reason, I think that doesn't that doesn't work. I need to collect faces actually at some point. Where's the... Yeah, here it is, right? Where's the other ones? She's gone through like 3 or 4 different sort of proportion stuff already. Changes, I feel like. I always wonder if we ever sort of stabilize to something. Theoretically, I feel like we should, but I also feel like it should have happened already. Hard to deal with this problem. Is waiting on... Yeah, okay, it's waiting on you. Why is this so low quality here? Did I grab the thumbnail by accident or what? Why is it so low? Yeah, this is the one. What the hell? Control C? C? Okay. It's fair. We'll see someone drive. Brings me joy. See someone drive as well because I enjoy driving. That's very... Yeah, I cannot relate. I cannot relate, I think. Watching someone else draw well always makes me wish I was like them. And then that opens a whole can of worms. Of why am I not like them? Of why am I so bad? And then, yeah, great times, you know. Favorite pastime. If it were something else, I think it would have been fine. If it's like music, you know. I can play my own instrument, other people can play their own instrument. I will be really happy to watch people excel at that specific art form. But I think art is too deeply tied to a lot of unresolved issues. And it just reminds me of the fact that I'm not working on it right now. I should be working on this right now, but I'm not. What reasons do I have to justify for this? For this, for this transgression? Oh my god, fucking words. So hard. Right. Same reason I've said. Yeah. I think I'm kind of insane. In a lot of the way that I think. It doesn't make a lot of sense. That's why I'm also so grateful for Ria being an existence that exists. She is the driving force behind everything. Despite what what my current actions might suggest, because I'm not really haven't drawn her in a while, but I think if it were not for Ria, I would have done. I would have just gone for like more instant gratification stuff, right? Just play all day games all day. Um, oh yeah, gooning 100%. I don't think I was ever in danger of using drugs or like alcohol and stuff. So probably that wouldn't have been a problem, but it would have been a problem if they were readily available and stuff like that. I think. Um, if not for one dumb wolf. Over. West. Oh, I see what the issue is. I see. What am I gonna do about it? That's the problem. Hang on, huh? Oh no, wait, hang on a second. The controller is mapping onto the wrong sequence. No, but it's fine though. It's fine, it's fine. Multiple issues here. What is this junk in the back? Is that on this layer or no? It's in the back. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, motivation. Motivation. Huh? Motivation is interesting. In my model, in my mental model for art, it seems like it's part of question one. It's the question of why do you draw? But then just having a target, like why you draw seems like a target kind of thing, right? It could be something else, I would say, but it feels very much like a target kind of thing. But just because you have a target doesn't mean you have a driving force. Or am I missing something here? Yeah, my control is not aligned. There's no specific sequence that we're trying to align. Echoes? It's unknown. Currently unknown. What am I seeing here? I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to the toilet. Go. Okay. No lines here. We'll push for one main, and then let the others branch out accordingly, I see. Oh. Yeah. It's like how I can't understand how people enjoy the process, I would say. But I have a rough idea of why I don't enjoy the process. There's a lot of factors that came in. Um, yeah, where would I even start? I think like there's generally other things tend to go pretty fast for me. I can get things done pretty quickly for math and science and stuff. So the expectation is you can do it for art. That's number one. Uh, I guess it's kind of the same point, but then there's this general sort of impatience towards seeing progress, which is also basically just point one. Actually, it's probably just point one. So that's the expectations part, and then also expectations in terms of the amount of work that needs to go in. Because what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say that a lot of these things I did not foresee. So when I did the process, it was just very painful without really understanding why it's painful. And so it just sucks. Like it just sucked from the beginning. I guess. Right, and also the idea of being a perfectionist, right? Because like you don't really get to that perfection until much, much, much later. It basically is endgame content. But I don't consider anything else other than perfect being usable in any sense at all. So you're going through all that pain for like not much to show for at the end. That's always how it feels like. Um, this is kind of hard. What is the similarity? What's the difference here? Square versus long. So it's y versus long. Primarily that I say proportion wise we're gonna shift sequence down. What's this voting? Mm-hmm. I mean, sure. I think fundamentally it's similar, right? Because like even if you do go without the guidelines, you're not drawing the final version in one go either, right? I am assuming because the guidelines purpose is only just there to break up the white canvas, I imagine. But rather than using guides, you're just going using the final stuff to do it, I guess. Just drawing eyes and drawing faces and drawing stuff directly. Sorry, by final I don't mean like I mean like unless like so what you have a blank canvas, then the line that you put in now you're never gonna erase it and it's gonna be in the final, right? I'm assuming you're going to like do adjustments, erase this, and then move stuff around, right? You're still gonna do some changes here and there. I don't know what I'm drawing here, by the way. Right, you can just start drawing eyes, maybe. But you're still gonna be adjusting and pushing stuff. Yeah, I think that I suppose the fact that you don't need guidelines to start is definitely very different. But I would say like unless you are putting lines down in one go and that's gonna be the final set of lines and you're never gonna change the lines you put down, I think it's not probably not that difficult to understand like what everyone else is doing because it's the same thing I would imagine. Or maybe not. I wonder. No key for this again. What is the so the main call is different. As I feel you, the virus. I'm kind of doing that right now a little bit, but for a year, huh? Did you collect like a year's worth of eyes and lay them out side by side and see if there's any patterns there? Patterns in terms of similar ways of drawing it in a way that you don't like. Then maybe you'll be like, oh, this is the stuff that I don't like, and then why not, why not? Surely at some point you kind of run out of patterns, right? And then you start to notice some things. I hope. It's like saying you're doing a gacha, but you don't have like a ceiling. You don't have a pity system. Surely at some point you kind of hit the pity system, right? Oh, they are just the virus as well. But I don't know if the virus necessarily posted anything. Some partial, something partial is here. Mm-hmm. Oh yes, I can't wait for my website to go up. I'm gonna put all my cringe shit from the past up. No, I already put those up. No, didn't I? I don't know. Dang, it's gonna take a while to populate the site with everything that I have, I think. I'm gonna go dig through all my junk. So I can document like the entire process. I don't have like all these sketches that I did like 10 years ago on like actual sketchbooks and stuff anymore. Well, I have them, but I don't have access to them. Actually, where are they? Oh yeah, I know where they are. I'm gonna write block. I don't think I'll write block in the traditional sense of like documenting what happened this week. But I will be consolidating certain pieces of information that we were talking about, like my idea of like progression and shit like that. Because I think those are useful, right? As long as we're streaming, as long as people are asking questions about it, having a consolidated place where people can just go and find answers and repeat it and just constantly go back, right? They can easily go back and find answers without listening to me ramble on and on and on about stupid shit that they don't care about. They can go in and control F and just find the part that they want. I think there's a lot of value in that. Yeah, I'm holding you accountable, the virus. We better get going. I won that fan art yesterday. What was the Spider-Man? The Spider-Man news guy. Shit, I forgot what his name is. Actually, I don't think I ever knew what his name was, but... yeah. The website is gonna be the reason why I don't make videos anymore. I swear to God. James Jonah, yes, thank you, DJJ-YL1DX. Welcome to the stream. God damn it, stupid as fuck. Yeah, Ria on Valentine's, I don't even know what she'll be doing, honestly. My impression of Ria currently is just like she doesn't really have a personality. She's just kind of feral. Completely based on instincts, and the instincts don't really kick in unless there's life or death situation. So she just kind of like does nothing basically half the time. You cereal the chocolate? Oh, no, like there's no chocolate for us. It's just Faye trying to give her feather to someone. Have to redo the hair for sure here. No physics render. Yeah, I suppose, right? Dogs cannot eat chocolate. But then if we go that far, then they might not be able to do other things too. I'll say they're fine. Primary anatomy is still human anatomy. No mom. At this rate, everyone wants to see her get chocolate except me. Oh. I can barely see the... No connection. Yeah. Oh shit, that's a really good rebuttal. That is a really good rebuttal. Thank you for that, though, Square. Actually, I don't have to say that. Wow. Look at that. That's a very good rebuttal. Is it not? It's like everyone's artist here. Why don't you guys do it instead? Yeah, let's go. Yes, thank you for that. Very cool. Indubitably. Math is also a little bit broken. I'm just gonna steal this pose at this point. This is the only thing I liked after browsing Pinterest for like 30 minutes. So I committed to the lines a bit too early. I'm getting cold feet again. Getting warnings from the face. Need to... Yeah, I should have kept it. Do that later. Very out of character, by the way. I feel like she'll be making this face 100%. Not. Maybe just for Valentine's is different. Oh, it's a up down. Where's this side? Probably no problem. Of course, yes. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night. What's my music doing? That's fine. This is going. Audio is kind of soft, I suppose. I'm gonna swap out my own music here. I'm missing things here. What is this angle even? Actually, kind of confused. Should I swap the angle? No, I'm gonna merge. I'm gonna push the... Eat it here. Wait a second, what? Am I stupid? Okay, this is what happens when I talk too much. I think I got so confused. Why do I have two separate layers trying to do the same thing? I only just realized there's two separate ones. reading. None. Oh. Yeah, around those lines. Right. Hmm. Oh, not yet. There we go. Portion is still kind of different. What? Oh, I see what I merged. I merged the thing in the back. Oops. That's why I had a separate layer. Anyways. Oh, congrats. Big brain. Only the biggest. I don't want to just have one sketch. I'm thinking of having a couple. And then we can be like, she can be like in the beginning she's kind of cool about it, and then later on she gets more and more embarrassed about it. We can have like a whole transition. It's like the cheapest chocolate you can buy, actually. I make her give like the cheapest possible chocolate. Hang on. Walmart original branded chocolate. Oh my god, this is great. Only like $2 for 100 gram. Surely this cannot be. This is the cheapest, right? Still a product of Switzerland, though. What? It's actually not even bad chocolate. Why am I not? Time in the future. Oh, because I'm not logged in. Little stupid. Okay. This is so funny to me. That's so funny to me because like all the anime is always like, oh, I got a handmade chocolate. No, she just fucking goes down to Walmart, gets the cheapest one, and shoves it in your face. But I would argue that this is still like kind of insane because like this character is not meant to go out. Like she's never gonna go outdoors. Right? Yeah, this is still kind of insane. If she went out to buy fucking Walmart chocolate. Maybe it's Ubered. Yeah. Now, there are some ideas here, right? So from like the most basic chocolate, I guess. So least embarrassed, least bothered with just cheap chocolate into most embarrassed with her own feather. I feel like there should be like an in-between here somewhere. Like I already see the idea, so we don't have to flesh this out right now. I need to go find references and stuff, but oh, she's got to be all cool about handing it out too. She's gonna do it with her fingers like this. Chocolate. Holy shit. Can you even do this? It's kind of heavy, you know? Oh no, at least the fingers should be bent or something. But then why not use the thumb? Kind of awkward. Crazy world. What's a good middle ground here? Actually, this would be a wasted opportunity to, like, if we don't do some simple animation, like not like hardcore character moving animation, but just specific parts of the character, right? I think specifically I'm thinking of just the wings and the ears and the eyes. It could add a lot, very easally. And then there was also that Eve MV animation that I posted in the whatchamacallit, art resources, art inspiration. I forgot which one I placed it in, but let me see if I can find it again. I don't think they will post it until it's actually Valentine. I would love to see the entire MV just to see what it looked like. It was pretty neat, very neat. Where is it? It's not here. Oh, whoops. I'm feature creeping this, by the way, like crazy. We went from a couple sketches into 2 or 3. Right, a couple of sketches before I was thinking of was like one with a face and some body and like her arms. But then the other ones are like mostly faces and stuff. Just different expressions. Now we're going into all of them has like body and arms. Into hey, why don't we do some animation for it? Actually, if that's the case, just 2 should be enough, man. She's like trying to be cool about it, but you can still kind of see a little bit of movement in the wings. And then later on, it's like just she's gonna about to take off, basically. What? What exactly is this posing? So she's trying to minimize surface area here. So there's a huge difference here, by the way. The intention is that over here, the body language as well, that she's generally more, supposedly, more confident and more sort of indifferent to the situation. But then when it comes to this one, she is more sort of tucked in. Everything is tucked in. The shoulders are tucked in. The arms are tucked in. And she's trying to minimize surface area because she is uncomfortable, right? Basically is what this is. more shy and more uncomfortable. Let me see. I don't know what this pose is though. I imagine it would be more backwards. Oh, it's a different layer, right? Of course. Yeah, but that means if the wings are involved, we have to go at least up to the hips. She won't be wagging the tail anytime soon, I don't think. It's interesting. So the wings and the ears were designed originally so that there's more emotion that can be shown. Primarily, it's just that the more excited she gets, the more what's a better word rather than stiff. But like, you know, the non-excited state is just loose. Whereas like if you're shocked, kind of like how the other animal ears are like, right? You might be down, but then you might be up when they're a little bit more shocked. And alert, yeah, alert. But in this case, I think we're kind of well past that zone. That's why I think like in between is really nice, right? We have like a more sort of a more relaxed state over here. Still kind of a little bit more alert, but a little bit more relaxed. Maybe like 45 degrees. And then the wings are kind of slower, but they're still moving. And then in between, there is one where she's like, where the movement is like huge, like where it's like just 100% alert. And then on over here, we go back to more sort of relaxed state, just because she is a little bit overwhelmed, I think. And I need to sit on this idea for a bit. And then the legs are here somewhere. I don't know where they are, right? What would be in between, though? What would be in between? How about that? Must be something here. I need to right, I merged everything down, right? Because I'm an idiot. Big brain. Is ensure target push up. Okay. Let me erase before I do this again. God damn it. You know what? Okay, one would be yeah, I see. possible. Yeah, this silhouette might not be so good. I'll have that cleared. Previous. Oh no. There's two other issues here, I think. There's some insane perspective that I'm about to set out there. If it works. I don't know if it's good. Oh, sorry, I guess. Maybe this is not very good. It's very tempting. Still don't know what I want, by the way. Until one of the face locks on completely, I don't think we can... Yeah, It is interesting, because I feel like if I wait for the lock on, it's gonna potentially take a really long time, if at all possible. Oh, it should be possible, but... Um, if it was just a random practice illustration goofing off, I think it would have been fine to skip it, but then skip the alignment, I think. Skip the passing of the check. But because this time, what difference does it make, right? I don't know. Let's go keep searching. Yeah, so pushing it. Maybe I haven't listened. Mm, okay. The inconsistencies are real. It's gonna take a while to sort it out. bloop, bloop, bloop. Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of got the other way. Oops. Okay, let me think. Division. All right, so this is my target. Can I do a low sequence? It's still unlikely, I think, right? So currently technically it's not failing this key. It is still kind of tricky. Like a lot of the things still depend on the face aligning to be something good. So currently so far none of them really truly aligned. and feels right. So a lot of things kind of get stuck. And then as we keep doing this, we're slowly starting to make this into a manga by at this point. Because I always see the scene play out in my head. Unless we take a specific slice, and otherwise, like, if I just let myself go, it's just gonna start to autopilot into going through each individual scene one by one by one by one. These ones worked primarily because there was no story or expectation at all. In fact, the character is kind of out of character too. So as we're bringing back in the personality and all that, it's starting to tie things up again. Anyways, I don't think I want to get stuck here anyways. Like, spend too much time on this anyways. Do I? Do I care? I'm not 100% sure just yet. But anyways, we start off with target for 1 illustration, maybe some face sketches into like 2 illustrations into like 3, and then now there's like a whole series of ideas coming out. The other operation was that I'm thinking of is like so we have the chocolate being number 1, right? So be number 1. And then you're like, oh, hey, wait a second, can you take a look at this? And then this would be something like, this is like kind of like the piece that I saw of Koharu presenting a feather. And then she's like, what the hell are you talking about? And then there might be another 4, and then this is the 5, right? The final end here. So there's some kind of a sequence of events going through. And then the interesting thing would be that if you can animate just like the years a little bit, so that you can see the level of sort of reaction, the intensity of reaction between each individual step of the process. Like, for example, over here, you can see her eyes get smaller and stuff like that, right? Right, so this would be like still more composed. This is like what? What? And then 4 is like, what? It's like, it will be the transition through the emotions. Was what I was thinking of. But this is gonna take a while. Even if we just wanted to do the sketches only and not the animation stuff. With the animation, it's gonna take months with my level. Ugh. Is it me or is it missing a finger? I don't see where it could have gone though. The shape is also kind of interesting. Yeah, I didn't think this was AI. But it's kind of interesting that that finger... It's kind of weird, like the fingers are kind of weird. I didn't think it was AI because I saw this watermark ass looking thing. I'm not really expecting people to put watermark on AI stuff. Everything all looks pretty logical though, I feel like. Maybe? I don't know what's happening with the ribbon actually. Never mind. What is that? Is that hair? Oh, it's meant to be hair, but it's like kind of like ribbon. The forms here are very confusing. Come on, GG. Yeah, there's still a lot of challenges. Face alignment is the big one. The secondary one is a little bit easier to ignore, be anatomy related stuff. I'm a bit more aware of how to turn it off, that part of my brain off, so that I don't get stuck because of anatomy. And also, just we're kind of like yeah, hitting a satisfactory limit level, anyways. Face alignment is a big problem. I don't think there's a there's no easy way out of this, I think. I would have to spend like hours. I think I'll just sit down and just draw a bunch of different angles and emotions and everything, and we polish each and every single one until it's correct. It feels right. But the thing is, I've done that before, multiple times actually. And over time, you just kind of drift away from your previous stuff that you like. Right, the virus. But I think I can assure you that the feeling that I'm feeling right now is probably not too different from what you're feeling. A sense of not really having anything satisfactory, just a bunch of stuff on the canvas, and just feeling kind of like lost. No clear idea, no clear direction. Not getting super inspired or motivated. Just a sense of I have to keep going. Maybe I should have just stuck with this, I think. Just full commit into one. Yeah, it is just like some Valentine thing. Like, my original idea was that since we did like the stuff from before, right? It was not that heavy, right? And we get to go through and play with some textures here and there. And just do some rendering without any references, right? It's kind of just free exploration. Try to figure out our own direction like that. So, since it is Valentine, might as well do something similar. It's just slowly devolved into a mess of different ideas and potentials and what ifs and other issues with alignment. Yeah, I get that, the virus. I do feel that. I have felt that before. The only way I think it's either, yeah, I think I will either use 3D to prove whether it's possible or not, but then I would also never know if it's just a limitation of the model, right? Because Clip Studio models are, the mannequin has a limit to the rotation and all the movements of the joints. So I would like to think that that is like sort of the human limit, but at the same time, I don't know. And then Post My Art and stuff don't have any limits on the rotation, which is kind of interesting. That would be number one. Number two would be just rely on vibes. Because if you're just kind of drawing for yourself and having fun and stuff like that, you yourself being satisfied, I think, is good enough. Like, you feel the vibes. If you can draw something that represents the vibes exactly the way you feel it, and even if it's slightly wrong, because I don't think you'll be completely wrong, right? As humans, I think we inherently would get an idea if things are super duper off. Anyways, so if you can draw something that feels right, feels good to yourself, I think that's fine too, I would say. Yeah. Anyways, I gotta come up with a solution for this. I need to just find out, just commit to something. Animation and stuff is probably gonna throw out the window. Multiple things are gonna be thrown out the window, I think. It's just a lot of work. If I were to choose one, it would be either one of these, right? A bit more fleshed out, and we can see what I want. You guys don't hear this. You guys hear the Genshin lo-fi. Gotta go back to doing more anatomy stuff, I think. Oh wait, if I do this, I only need to draw a single thumb. Wait a second. Big brain? Oh. Wait, hang on. Oh, right. Jump. What? Oh, right. She's like, take it, take it, take it, take it, take it. Oh man. Take this shit. Take the fucking chocolate. Frame rate's kind of high, but wait. Frame rate is a little bit insane. Where is the frame rate settings? Dang it, every time I forget. Oh, animation. Yes, yes. Let's drop it by half or something. Go 6. You gotta fix the anatomy, of course, but like, yeah. Yeah, 100%. The original idea was for her to just be like a normal tsundere character. That was the original idea. Right? And then we do dumb shit like this. And then over time, she got a little bit heavier as I started fleshing out the lore. And then now I don't know how to reconcile the two. The only I can just kind of I have to kind of hand wave the sort of trauma healing process so that she goes back to being what she was supposed to be. And then there's just this, I guess, darker past and stuff that's kind of just hidden away in the back. But anyway, so we just kind of we're just gonna goof off and like do whatever, right? And then eventually, it will sort itself out. Things always sort themselves out, I would say. This is only 2 frames, right? We can up the quality of the frames here a bit for sure, and then like we can also make the wings and the ears and the eyes move a little bit. What? What's that button do? Oh, I just realized if I do this, I do need a second. I need another one here. So that it goes back down. It's not equal steps, so it's not it's not easing. Also, the movement is probably a little bit too much, I think. Because she would just be doing a little bit of movement. This is like a lot. She's like trying to fan you with the chocolate at this point. So too much movement. Oops. What? Gross. No, but this should be facing up. So really, is this guy? That's the in between. I guess should be reconciled a little. The arm is very distracting. I'm just gonna nuke the arm for now. I need to decide whether to risk this because that's what the movement is. Oops. It's a bit more natural. This amount of movement, I think it's a bit more natural. Yeah, animating in CSP. I think I only have this option, by the way. I don't have any other options for animation. Alright, because the arm disappeared. The hand disappeared. Bro, stop. Nanimo mienai. I'm just gonna grab this. And then I'm going to rotate and squish it somehow to make it just work. A bit more in your face. It's not quite in your face because of the perspective, but I don't know if I want to go to that extent. Should make it really huge. Very cool. Secondary. Why are there so many layers? Oh, because of these guys. Get in one. Eat. I wonder what the wing movement would be like though, because is it just gonna be really quick then? Oops. Oh, they kind of end up pretty well actually. Oh wait, no, that's the hen. I'm taking it anyways. Whatever. Moin. Yes, tonight. Oh, the other one should have been higher. It's very noisy, it feels like. It's So I think there's two priority here, right? It's the same as the other illustration comp. Because this needs to be the main movement here. Then the wings can be whatever, can move a lot, but they need to be less noticeable if this is the case. Still. Around 4 frames going up to 8. If I do this, and then I drag these guys out instead, and then we up the frame rate, what happens then? So the wings are gonna be super quick in this. Let's just drag all the way. Yeah, you end up being like this. I think the solution here is probably just to make the wings smaller. It's not meant to be that big anyways. Illustration wise, I think you can make it bigger depending on the com. I guess here also depending on the com. Make it smaller. Oh, it's also not very natural because the movement for the Choco here is a little bit too natural. She'll probably be like, you know, like do some quick movements and then like some slower ones perhaps. She'll hold it out, right? And then she'll be like, take it, and then shake it a few times. Yeah, this is how this is how we never finish this thing forever. And a year movement will probably just be twitching. It wouldn't really move too much, I think, if we were to add any here. How do I make this longer? What? How do you make this frame longer? What? Huh. No. Whoa, chill out, bro. Oh, I think it just exists until then. Right? Oh, I see. This is only drawn like this size because my canvas is a portrait. So this aspect, this is like a thumbnail of what I have here. Okay, makes sense. It lasts until the one that needs to be changed. This one remains unchanged. Well, let's just copy and paste it over there. Very awkward right now, but I can kind of maybe see the vision. You just don't make any sense right now. You just don't make too much sense at this point. The wings is also kind of noisy, and I think only the choco here kind of makes sense. So. A little bit sense. Let's just transform actually. Probably easier to keep consistent. It feels like Live 2D all over again. Can't see shit. Wait a second. This doesn't look right. Hang on a second. Oh, wait, what? I copied? Oh, I didn't paste. Oh, oops. Sorry, I didn't cut. I need to cut this. Wow, actually, you know what? Wow, freaky. Yeah, I have to redraw this anyway. The years don't make sense. Everything else is just like the timing issue, but like the movement kind of makes sense, you know? The idea is there. It's just a lot of refinement. Probably need to look at what other people do too. How did we get here? Thank God. And it? Why did my body phase out of existence? Didn't I pull this all the way? It didn't work? Oh my God, bro. What's the point of having them in the folder then if it doesn't follow the folder setting? Now we have enough frames to maybe play around with this timing. Doesn't feel fast enough actually. Doesn't nuke from the folder, right? Yeah, I just released from the frame. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think this is kind of interesting, but it can feel a little overwhelming. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go down this tangent necessarily. So I'll just see how I feel about it tomorrow, I think. Today I set out to do one illustration, end up with like a bunch of sketches, discussion about art and an animation rough. Anyways, yeah, cool guys. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Anyways, wow, my God, I'm getting tired. Anyways, thanks for coming. How many anyways did I say in the past 3 sentences? Holy shit. Thanks for coming, guys. I'll see what happens tomorrow. I guess we'll see what happens. I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow, but have a good night. Thanks for coming, and see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.